Hello and thanks for staying with us on Africa Independent Television, AIT. Welcome to Democracy Today. It's just about 5 months, 17 weeks and 123 days to February 16, 2019, a day scheduled for the presidential election in Nigeria. Nigerians now know who their presidential candidates for the various political parties are. While the major opposition People's Democratic Party is engaging in moves to woo more support to its fold, the ruling All Progressives Congress is mending broken fences arising from post-party primaries controversies. Yes, today is 15th of October 2018. The office of the governor of Ekiti State is welcoming a new governor, Kayode Fayemi. And recall that FAYOSE, who just left office today, was on this program in September when the Inspector General Police put him on checklist. Let's take an insert from that interview.
And I sent it to them in good faith as a sitting governor. That you are writing again. So if I want to travel now, I cannot go. Is that what you are saying? That's not good for the institution. Any of our colleagues keeping quiet today because some are enjoying it, some are benefiting from it. Good luck to them. So for them to tell me, when I was coming now, I was passing through the airport. I saw one man, I didn't know it's not custom, but he was wearing something similar. I said, I'm here in case you want to arrest me so that I'm available here. I'm not one Nigerian.
Did they write to you that they want to arrest you?
This is public knowledge. I mean, what they wrote, what is in the airspace is public knowledge.
They didn't say arrest. They said they should put you on checklist so you don't leave the country.
You read the body of the letter. You even said it when you were reading this just now, that they said they should arrest Ayo Fayose. When a man says he's coming to you, do you need an arrest? And I wrote this letter so that there will be no drama.
Can they arrest a sitting governor?
Well, not anything is possible in Nigeria. They've frozen my account, at least. They've frozen my account. I've gone through so much. But let's leave that. What I'm saying is that if they do it, it will still be on the side of history for everybody. So let me put it clearly. I am still coming, as I've said, because the only time I can come, that was why I did not put on the 17th of October. You might say I want to run away on the 16th.
It is possible that they will say you might even run away on the 15th before the
No, I can come
I
can arrive at EFCC midnight of 15th.
Okay.
That is the truth. I can come there. I'm not a man afraid of running away from anything. You understand? I'm not going to be the first person that will be charged. I've been charged before. I'm not going to be the first person to be charged. I'm not going to be the last. So why run away to where? And I want to say to you again, on the 19th of December, 2007, I gave up myself at the Lagos office. The records are there. So let us forget all these stories. If this is not political, very good.
No. Well, that was Ayo Fayose in September. He was a guest on this program and he said, I will be there on the 15th midnight. And today is 15th. The invitation is due tonight. This is our focus on the program tonight. I am Ijoma Osamor. Welcome once again to Democracy Today. Well, we'll be taking a look at what is happening today. What we have here is that the People's Democratic Party is alleging that Governor Ayo Fayose is to be detained indefinitely by the presidency. Let me just read a part of the statement that was issued by the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. The statement says the People's Democratic has raised alarm over alleged directive by the presidency to detain the outgoing governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, indefinitely. The National Publicity Secretary of the party, Kola Alogbodiyan, in a statement, said that the information at the party's disposal and all over the social media is that the presidency had put the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on alert to arrest the governor at midnight this Monday. Alogbodiyan also insisted that the alleged directive by the presidency is not unconnected with the plot to use the EFCC and other security agencies to incarcerate the governor, owing to the persistent criticism on President Muhammadu Buhari-led government. He revealed that Fayose's preparedness to defend himself in court of law, and also said that neither the presidency nor EFCC is a court of law. Yes, this is our focus tonight, as I have with me in the studio the former aviation minister and the former spokesman to the Jonathan Campaign Organization in 2014, Femi Fani-Kayode. Welcome to Democracy Today.
Good evening.
So you have seen what is actually happening. Why is FAYOSE or your party insisting that they want to hold this man indefinitely in detention? They just invited him.
Well, I think that, as to the why, I think that question should be put to the government, to the presidency, and to the EFCC. Why do they do the things that they always seem to do? Why do they seek to intimidate people? Why do they abuse power? Why do they insult people? Why do they declare members of the opposition guilty even when a court of law has not declared them as being so? Why do they violate our human rights? Why do they violate our civil liberties? This is a question you need to put to them. And I feel very strongly about this, as millions of Nigerians do. And every single sitting governor, former president, former head of state, every legislator in this country, and every prominent person and not so prominent person in this country should feel a sense of outrage about what is going on. Here you have a situation where a man has said, I will come to you at such and such a time on such and such a day. And I'm ready to come, I'm willing to come, and I've told the whole world I'm coming. He hasn't run away, he hasn't disappeared. And yet you are planning to surround his home at 12 midnight, to pick him up from his house, cage him, and carry him away as if he was a common criminal. This is unacceptable.
But that's an allegation. They have not said they will do that.
Well,
your party is raising alarm.
Have you ever heard of any security agency telling you what it is that they plan to really do? Do they never publicize their plans? Listen, I am a victim of this. They invited me to come on a particular Monday a couple of years ago. I said I'll be there. I wrote to them formally. They served me with a letter. On the Friday, they came to my house 2 days before and surrounded my home, laid siege to my home for 8 hours, did not let anybody come in or anybody go out, and said that I must come with them, even though I had acknowledged the invitation. So this type of information that the party has, and of course they must have had their own intelligence reports and so on and so forth. They must, they don't just issue statements like that for fun. This is a very serious issue. And in any case, let us leave that aside for 1 minute. Let's go back in history a little bit. This is a sitting governor that was physically assaulted by men of the Nigerian police force. This is a sitting governor that had his accounts frozen. That is, the government's accounts frozen, even though he was a sitting governor and he enjoyed immunity. This is a sitting governor whose own personal homes and members of his family were intimidated, threatened, and some even arrested, some of his assets seized by the same EFCC. And this is a sitting governor who had his state robbed from him, literally, when the whole place was besieged and security agencies literally rigged the election in favor of the APC. Now, if they can do that, what on earth are they not capable of doing? FAYOSE is not a coward. He's like me. I am not a coward either. We cannot be intimidated by these people. Even if you lock him up indefinitely, as they're threatening to do, let them do their worst. They're not God.
I'm still wondering, Chief Fani-Kayode, I'm still wondering.
And if they lock him up indefinitely, he will come out one day.
No, I'm still wondering, where did this information about locking FAYOSE?
Let me put this to you, because listen, the problem is this with most of our people. We always assume things will not happen to us. It'll happen to somebody else. And we have a good laugh about it. And this is something we need to stop doing. If there is an affront or a violation of the rights of any individual in this country, or an abuse of power on one, even if it's the weakest in society, it affects every single one of us. And it's in that context that we must see this. It could be you tomorrow, it could be anybody tomorrow. It's in this context you must look at this. Now, a situation whereby you say, why is it? Look at the record of this government. Dasuki has been in detention for almost 3 years, even though courts have said he must be freed. This is a government that does this sort of thing. This is a government that went into the homes of judges in the middle of the night, bundled them to the SSS headquarters, raided their homes, insulted them, and violated their civil liberties. Sitting judges. This is a government that does that sort of thing. This is a government that ignores court orders, that intimidates judges, that locks up and intimidates legislators, Senate president, threatens to lock them up, seals up the Senate. So are you now telling me that this sounds so far-fetched? But I make the point again. Whether they do that or not is neither here nor there. Nobody is running. The courts of law are there. The courts of law are watching. The whole world is watching. If you lock up FAYOSE and torture him and keep him there indefinitely, you may do so. You may abuse power. But I'll tell you what. No, let me, please. But I'll tell you what. You will pay a heavy price for this at the end of the day, simply because God is watching and God is a God of justice. If you have a case against him, go through due process. Prosecute him, Arrest him, detain him, prosecute him, release him when the time is due, if he's granted bail. Don't ignore court orders. Let him go through that process. We have 3 arms of government in this country: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. Sometimes I wonder, and I have to say this, whether our president is that well educated to understand that there is a distinction between the 3. He cannot be the judge, he cannot be the jury, he cannot be the legislature, and he cannot be the executive at the same time. And they should stop pronouncing people as looters, because they're not looters. No court has said so. And neither can you convict FAYOSE on television or the pages of newspapers or anybody else.
You are sounding very aggrieved, because you've been a victim of this.
I'll tell you, no.
But Nigerians will ask you,
yes,
if this man is found guilty,
yes,
and they have evidence to prove that FAYOSE
sure,
should be invited,
yes,
and to answer questions,
yes,
is anything wrong with that?
Absolutely nothing wrong. And we're back to the same question. I have never said there's anything wrong with that. I have no problem with going to EFCC any day, any time to answer any question. That is what any responsible person ought to do. But they must also behave, and I'm talking about not just little EFCC, I'm talking about the whole government, from the presidency to the president himself and each and every one of the SSS. They must behave within the law. They must follow due process. You don't lock people up indefinitely. It has been done. You don't violate their rights. It has been done. You don't intimidate judges. It has been done. You do not convict people on the pages of newspapers and pronounce them guilty before a court of law has done so. You are not a judge. These people should understand that there is the principle of separation of powers in this country, and we will not accept this anymore. I don't feel particularly aggrieved, because anything is possible with me. They've done all sorts to me. They've locked me up for 90 days. They've violated my rights. They've humiliated me. They tortured me. They abused my family. They locked up my 1-year-old son and my young wife for 5 hours in a bank in Ekiti, and they said that my child should not have any milk to drink for almost 4 or 5 hours.
That's exactly why I said you're talking like an aggrieved man.
No. Listen. I don't comment on these things publicly, often. I only do so once in a while. And I've been coming to this program and talking and writing for a long time. I hardly talk about these things. I do not want this to happen to anybody else, where you lock up a 1-year-old child and a young lady for no reason, lay siege to a bank, and say you're going to lock them up for no reason whatsoever. If they can do that to children and do that to young people that have nothing to do with politics, they can do it to anybody. It's in that context I'm seeing this. And I'm sensing this obvious intention to violate FAYOSE's rights and humiliate him. And I'm sending a signal warning that the whole world is watching. If that were not the case, why is it that the minute that he lost the election, or supposedly lost the election, the EFCC eagerly went and tweeted that you have a date with us in the near future?
That tweet was pulled
down. It doesn't matter.
It was pulled down.
It does not matter.
Maybe somebody who is overzealous.
Well, I sincerely hope that person was sacked. And I also hold Magu directly responsible for that. He must take responsible, and President Buhari, for that nonsense that they did.
Now, I will let you land, but I need to ask this question,
yes,
because Nigerians are also expecting you to react to the question. If the government says their #1 priority is to fight corruption, and if they look at the reason why they invited FAYOSE is because of what happened, I'm taking you back to the tweets that you're talking about now. If that is the reason why FAYOSE is invited, is it not apt for him to go answer to the invitation? And people just stop this whole allegation of indefinite...
Let us not befudge the issues. He has never said, and neither have I or anybody else has ever said, that we are not prepared to answer questions. He's never said that. He's made it obvious, he's made it public, he's written to them on several occasions that he is coming. Why the hurry? Why the eagerness? I mean, they're behaving like a pit bull terrier, foaming at the mouth, ready to tear the throat.
No, I would not like such language.
I'm sorry to say this, but that is precisely how I see it. You asked me to come, allow me to answer the questions the way I wish to answer it, not the way you want me to answer it. Now, let me also say this. Just the other day, 2 days ago, approximately 2 days ago, 50 prominent Nigerians, including my good self, was put on a watch list.
I'll come back to that. We need to take a break here, Chief Fani Kayode. We have the track-up, or can I call it a track-up, or an interview by our correspondent this afternoon with the former governor of Ekiti State, talking about Ayodele FAYOSE. Let's see what he has to say.
Well, it becomes very necessary to react to what is making the rounds in the social media, and the position on the party I have read, in terms of the plans of the EFCC, despite my notification repeatedly that I will be coming to EFCC tomorrow, the 16th of October, because my tenure expires this night at about 12 midnight. Well, I heard that the EFCC is planning to invade my house and have me arrested tonight. Well, I'm all prepared. I will be expecting them. I won't be surprised at that action of theirs. It is their stock in trade. And I want to say a big thank you to Nigerians, and I want you to continue to follow. But I have made it very clear that I will be there on Tuesday, 1 o'clock, because my tenure expires midnight. So I don't know the desperation, the reasons behind that. And I equally hear in good authority that they said the presidency says I should be incarcerated indefinitely. I received this with joy. I want to let them know that I am not one of the Nigerians that is afraid of that. Again, I want to tell them very expressly that this country belongs to all of us. We are not going to shy away from saying the truth. We're not going to be afraid of them. They came by due process. They came by free and fair process electorally. They cannot intimidate us. They can't intimidate me. Remember, I've always said it, that my name is Peter Ayo FAYOSE, Peter the Rock. They won't get far. Be strong. These Egyptians you see today, you will see them no more. I want you all to continue to follow the events from tomorrow. Like I said, I will reiterate it again. I'm saying it again, that I will be there on Tuesday, the 16th of October. They have all the time. In the last 2.5 years, they claim to be investigating me, to have all the facts ready. And they have all the time in the last 1 month, or over 1 month that I've written to them, to have all the facts ready. The moment investigations are political, he could be anybody tomorrow. So remember, like I said, they won't get far. Locking us up, locking me up, no big deal. I am telling you expressly, Nigerians, it is time to face tomorrow, and I'm prepared.
No, Ayodele FAYOSE there addressing newsmen this afternoon at his home. And if you look at him, you will just wonder, is this the FAYOSE that 2 months ago can stand in front of a camera and scream? FAYOSE is looking so humble, wonderful. He's looking so humble because of the invitation for tonight. Is that why he has decided to appear this way?
Well, my dear, is that what you call humility or being humbled? I call it the fact that he's pensive. And that's perfectly understandable. And he's on sober reflection. He is thinking about what is going to happen. He's prepared himself physically, spiritually, and in every other way, emotionally. And it is a very difficult thing that he's about to face. But it's no big deal. He has been through it before, just as many other Nigerians have been through it before. Others have lost their lives. Others have lost their loved ones, the lives of their lost ones, and of their loved ones. And these are the sort of things that could happen to a human being. But God being so merciful, he's a healthy man, he's a strong man, and he's ready to face whatever it is they want to throw at him, knowing that this is a country that is governed by laws. And there are courts, and there are civil liberties and human rights, and there is a constitution which guarantees his rights. And most important of all, it's only a question of time. By February, we shall vote these people out of power. You will have a new government coming in, by the grace of God, very soon, under the leadership of Abubakar Atiku, and all this rubbish will stop.
Don't take that language.
Well, listen to me, and I want to make a fundamental point here. It is okay for people like Keyamo to speak rubbish on television stations
Chief,
this morning and call us looters.
We will not allow the same language on this program.
It's comfortable for you to allow them to call us looters, to call us thieves.
It didn't happen here.
Well, it has happened all over the Nigerian media. But when we say that what they are saying is rubbish, they say this is wrong. Now, where's the logic behind that? Let's kill this once and for all. Hillary Clinton was on TV a few days ago talking about Donald Trump and the American election. And I'm a great fan of Donald Trump. But she criticized him and said, look, how do you expect us to be civil to those that seek to destroy our lives, destroy our country, and destroy our future. And when they call us all kinds of names, we're supposed to say, well, it's okay to do that. Now, that is the context under which I'm coming from. That's how I'm speaking. And I'll also tell you this. It could be you or the owner of this station tomorrow. And the owner of this station has also been subjected to this sort of thing, violation of human rights. Look at El Zakzaki. He was shot in the eye. He was detained. He was locked. His wife was shot 4 times, and he has been in detention for the last 2-3 years. Nobody wants us to talk about that. Constantly, rights are being violated in this country. Constantly, people are being slaughtered either by security agents.
But
2 years ago,
if you feel aggrieved,
1,000. No, please let me just finish the flow, and then I'll let you come in. 1,000 Shia Muslims were slaughtered in the streets. 1,000 Shia Muslims were killed in the streets of Kaduna almost 2 years ago. There's no outrage about that. 808 Christians were slaughtered on Christmas Day and Christmas Eve.
We will not
no outrage about it.
No,
these are facts, for goodness sake. Shall we
I
not talk about the facts?
The court is still alive.
Shall
Whoever feels aggrieved can go to court.
Let me put it to you like this. Shall we not relay the facts?
Not in the manner
Why
at
not?
which you
These
relay
human
it.
beings are being killed.
Now
And you are saying because of NBC we shouldn't speak, then we won't come. It's a very simple thing. It's only a question of time. This is a democracy. Okay, this is a democracy.
Let's look at the talk about the 50 Nigerians.
And the minute the press, is muzzled, we have an even greater problem. And I think this is a fundamental issue.
Nobody's muzzling the press.
I'm not saying you have been muzzled, but you and I know very well that the press has been come down on very hard not to allow certain things to be said by the opposition leaders.
Because we have a regulatory body.
All right, let me put it to you like this.
And we have a law that covers that.
Rather than for us to indulge in lectures about how to conduct interviews, it's a very simple thing. Whether anybody likes it or not, we have an election coming. Whether anybody wants to hear it or not on air or in the news, we will speak the truth about the atrocities being committed by this government. This man is about to go in tomorrow. Let us hope and pray they play it by the rules. We would all be very happy, and we have nothing to fear. Let us hope and pray they do not violate the rights of our candidate Atiku. They do not lock him up. Let us hope and pray they do not violate the rights of any of our leaders.
Are there allegations that he
There are many allegations. I
Atiku?
have listened to this morning. I listened to a television program when a spokesman for a presidential campaign organization by the name of Kayamo making the most outrageous allegations against our presidential candidate. And this is nothing new. They do it all the time. When we defend ourselves, we're told we're not allowed to speak. But it really doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is this. We're getting closer and closer to the D-Day when we will allow the Nigerian people to make a choice. And that choice is between light and darkness, between heaven and hell, as I've said before.
Chief,
and I believe they'll make the right choice.
Let me go to the issue that has been on the media for over 48 hours now, the issue of the executive order. There is this belief that your name is one of those that are stopped. And I saw your Twitter handle that you've never traveled out of this country for the past 8 years.
Yes.
So that didn't start with the Buhari administration.
Well, let me explain that. I consider it a badge of honor that my name is on that list. If it wasn't on that list, I'd be very worried. You know why? Because this is a list of people that they seek to silence and suppress. And it really doesn't matter to me personally. Why is it that I haven't traveled for the last year? I have not been able to travel because I was prosecuted by the EFCC, as you well know, for 7 years by the EFCC from 2008 right up until 2015. And I was discharged and acquitted 7 years later to the day. The minute after I was discharged and acquitted, by that time Buhari had come in. He immediately ordered his security agents to arrest me again, collect my passport, and I haven't seen my passport since. It's with the courts. It's either with the courts or the FCC. So this type of nonsense doesn't bother me at all. Not at all.
So you're not bothered that you're
not traveling? I've said it and I'll say it on air. I don't give a damn. Now, the issue is this. For as long as they like, they can keep it. When God says it's time for them to go and we have liberty and freedom again in this country, we will take it up and we'll go. And they can't kill any of us. They can't kill me. But let me also, but I'm not concerned about me. I'm concerned about others. There are other people on that list who need to travel simply because they have medical issues or they have families abroad and so on and so forth. And it seems to me to be most unfair to say they shouldn't travel when a court of law has not pronounced them guilty of anything. And when traditionally and under the Constitution, it is only the courts that have the power to place a travel ban. On this order that you have spoken, Nigerians may be looking and laughing now, but let me just tell you the implications of this order.
Chief, we have less than a minute to go. We have about 15 seconds.
Under this order, the EFCC or SSS or any agency has the right to go to your home, freeze up your bank account, collect your house, collect your cars, do everything, and hold them pending investigation or pending criminal litigation.
But
that is a violation of law. It is fascism, and it's unacceptable.
All right, Chief Fanika, I would also like to let you know that the presidency has said they did not release any list. They've denied that list that is being peddled in the social media.
Good for them. Let them show us the list. They're the ones that said they have a list. They should produce it.
And also,
my friend Abba Kyari should really get it. We were in Cambridge together. I'm shocked that he should be allowing this sort of thing to happen. He should be part of a government that does this.
All right. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. And this is where we say thank you for joining us on the show. Do keep a date with us tomorrow by 7:30 p.m. You can go to our Twitter handle, Democracy Today. Follow us at that handle. Also follow me at my handle at EJ Osamor. Until we return tomorrow, good night.